When putting together building systems, you've seen R values and U values. And it's easy to remember which one does which because R stands for resistance. R value measures a material's resistance to heat. U values, on the other hand, is a measurement of the overall rate of heat transfer. Now I'm wondering, was T value already taken by the time we made this a thing? It's harder to remember which values are quickly added together and which take a little thought, but I'm here to show you that it's easier than you think. An insulating material with an R value of 19, such as 6-inch fiberglass bats, has a higher resistance to heat than 4-inch bats with an R value of 11. The higher the R, the better the resistance. A U value, on the other hand, is the reciprocal of the R value. A lower U value is better than a higher one. The best example of this difference is windows, whose glass is rated using U values, not R values. Another interesting thing about U values and R values, you can add R's, but you can't add U's. Now, what's the trick to remembering that? You are just going to have to remember. Now let's say you've designed a site-built fixed glass window with 2 panes of low E glass and a 1-inch airspace between. Each pane of glass has a U value of 0.36, and the airspace has an R value of 3.6. It's kind of funny how the numbers worked out there in this example, isn't it? Well, when the plan reviewer or your HERS rater asks what the total U value of the window assembly is, here's how you calculate it. And because you can add R's, but you cannot add U's, the first thing you do is convert the U's into R's. So the formula is easier than you think. Now, because the U's and R's are reciprocal, it's U equals 1 over R. So to find the R value of each pane of glass, the formula is 1 divided by 0.36, which equals an R value of 2.8. And now that we have the R values, you can calculate the total R value for the entire window assembly. 2.8 times 2 plus 3.6 for the airspace is an R value of 9.2. Now to convert that back into a U value, U equals 1 divided by 9.2. So the total U value of the assembly is 0.11, and that's really good. U values generally range from 0.1, which is very little heat loss, to 1.0, which is very high heat loss. What it technically means is that 0.11 BTUs of heat will pass through 1 square foot of the window in 1 hour if the interior temperature is 75 degrees Fahrenheit and the outside is 74 degrees. Now, with the new energy codes prescribed in the 2021 IRC, some areas of the country will soon require an R30 wall assembly. And as I said, adding R's is easy. A 2x4 stud wall with R11 insulation and a 2x6 stud wall with R19 equals an R30 just by adding the insulation material values. What's interesting is the R value of a 2x4 stud is 4.38 and a 2x6 is 6.88. And that's why when you look at an infrared image like this one sent to me by AIBD member Steve Coonan, it's easy to locate where the studs are and even easier to find the window. But let's say that there's a stucco finish, 1/2-inch plywood, 1/2-inch gypsum, and a 1/2-inch gap between the walls. Now I'm going to be working from the outside in. The equation is R 0.8 plus R 0.62 plus R 19 plus R 0.9 plus R 11 plus R 0.56. So the total R value of the wall assembly is 32.88. Now let's compare that to the window. The U value would then be 1 divided by 32.88 or 0.03. So even though you've designed a high efficiency fixed glass window, to put it into that wall assembly, it still allows heat to escape at almost 4 times more the rate. The good news is that thermal bridging no longer exists with a double wall and a small gap or offsetting the studs. Now, calculating the U value of an entire wall is a little bit more complicated and probably something you leave up to the energy rater. But if you're interested, I found an exciting rap video produced by a young architect who teaches people how to pass the AREs. Garrett will put the link to the video in the notes below. Now, someone else who loves to talk about this stuff is associate member Harry Booty of Energy Innovations by Harry Booty. Now, the first weekend of March, Harry will be right where he always has been on the first weekend of March for nearly 20 years before the pandemic. And that is greeting everyone as they check in at the registration desk at the AIBD North Myrtle Beach Conference. Now, if you know Harry, you can't wait to get your ticket to the conference so you can hang out with him. And if you don't know Harry, well, you should be experiencing the fear of missing out. Imagine offering your clients the design for their HVAC system with a transferable lifetime guarantee. Come to North Myrtle Beach, meet Harry, and be amazed at what else you can learn. Visit aibd.org/conferences and look for the link to more information and tickets. Now, please go back to the email that brought you here and see what else is going on in AIBD. Thanks for watching this entire video and have a triumphant week.